Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Cassie. Today I'm going to be going over all of my most nostalgic 6th gen games, or my top 10 anyway. This is a video response to Sea Stove on YouTube and also Mr. 6th Gen and Tyler 16-bit. So we used to be like this big community doing like video responses and tagging each other and doing all sorts of stuff in like the 2010s, and we just don't do it anymore. A lot of us kind of like quit YouTube, or we just kind of do it here and there, but it used to be a big thing and we're trying to bring it back to what it used to be. So if you want to do this as well, be my guest, go ahead. And yeah, we're going to go over all the most nostalgic games. Oh, where did I put it? Shoot. I think I put it on my notepad. Oh, there we go. Anyway, yeah, I've got a list. This is 6th gen, so it's GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation 2, blah, blah, blah. But GameCube and PlayStation 2 are basically it for me. So I did not grow up with the other consoles, so not including Halo on this list. It is a favorite, but I didn't play it until like 8 years ago, so for Game Club, so yeah, it's not included on this, unfortunately, but these are the ones that kind of like shaped me as a gamer, you know, so like games that really meant a lot to me, that I have like really good memories with. And yeah, so first game obviously is going to be Final Fantasy X. You can see Tidus right here. Yeah, it's Tidus. That's what they said in Kingdom Hearts. I know, it sounds stupid. I'd love for his name actually to be Titus, but yeah. Anyway, Final Fantasy X is my favorite game of all time. I had such a blast playing it as a kid. I really did not know what I was doing. I was terrible at RPGs, but the cutscenes, the music, the characters and everything, the story, just phenomenal game. It's just, I think it still holds up really well to this day. There's not a lot of games that I can say that with necessarily, because a lot of them are really hard to go back to, but I've played this over and over again several times, and still as an adult it still hits. And they've got remasters, so you know, it's enhanced for today's generation. So I highly recommend it. If you're into RPGs and you have not played Final Fantasy X, definitely give it a go. I don't think that it needs a remake, honestly. Like if they did a remake on this one, I hope that they would not change the battle system, because it's one of the best turn-based battle systems out there. So yeah, I loved Yuna's summons as well, and I would hate for that to be an action turn-based, you know, or active turn-based, whatever. But unless they did something like Expedition 33, which they are probably gonna try to, you know, do something similar with now, because everybody loves that. So at least if you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. But next game, Shadow of the Colossus. There is no game out there like this at all. I wish we could get some more games like this. I honestly, like, if they would do like another Shadow of the Colossus, which I know that Eco and The Last Guardian are technically in the same universe, but they're not the same game. Shadow of the Colossus is unique because I think there's 15 or 16 Colossus in this big open world. I say big, it's not really that large for today's standards, but back then, you know, it's a decent size. And you're going around, and in different environments and stuff, there's all these different Colossus. They are built differently, every single one of them. You've got some that fly, that you have to jump on their backs. There's some that are like rock hard, that will like roll and like knock down structures and stuff, and you have to like get out of their way and wait for them to, like, you know, damage their armor and stuff. But you want to climb up on them, so some of them have fur and stuff that you can grab onto, and like ledges and stuff. So it's got some platforming and stuff to it too, and climbing. and you're trying to weaken their, or stab their weak spots with your sword and take them all down. And it's crazy. And I know that like the Dark Souls, or like Souls likes or whatever genre actually got a lot of inspiration from Shadow of the Colossus because of their I don't know, just focusing more on bosses than they do on other enemies, because Shadow of the Colossus did not have any enemies except for the boss. So yeah, 16 different bosses that you went through, and the remake was phenomenal. It was spot on. It was just, easier to play, and graphically a little bit better. So yeah, definitely like check that out too on PlayStation 4 if you don't have the remake. The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. I was so hard on this game when it got announced in the magazine. I was like, what is this like Toon Link and this childish looking like graphics? Like the cel shaded graphics looked kind of funny to me back then, and I thought that I had seen like Link being shown like probably like a year or so before in a magazine, like a preview for what was next to come, but it ended up being Soul Calibur, I'm pretty sure, because Link was one of the characters, the playable characters in the GameCube version of that. So that's what I was thinking that the next Zelda was going to look like, a more realistic looking Link, which we later got with Twilight Princess kind of. So, but Wind Waker is such a fun game. I love the environments. I loved traversing through the sea on this boat, and it's really colorful. And although the Toon Link still is a little bit childish in a way, but it's just a really fun game, and fun is really what the reason I play games is for fun overall, anything else. So Luigi's Mansion. This was the first game that I went to like a Toys R Us and saw a GameCube kiosk for like the first time, and I was like, I cannot believe that they've done this, like that it looks like this, because it looks so good. Luigi's Mansion was being shown, and I was like, we've really gone from Nintendo 64 graphics to this. It's crazy how smoothed out it was, and it just looked really cool. Luigi looked awesome, and it was one of the first games I got with GameCube. It may have been my first, actually, and I played through the entire thing. I did not play through like games when I was a kid, so it was really rare for me to see them to the end. Most of these games from my childhood I did not finish until as an adult, and some of them I still have not finished, like Wind Waker. So definitely want to go back on these, and hopefully some of the GameCube games do become available on the Nintendo Switch Online now that they're doing GameCube. So we'll see if that happens. But Luigi's Mansion, like I was not like a big Mario fan, but Luigi's going around and he's sucking up ghosts with his vacuum, and it was really fun. Crazy Taxi. This was a fun game. I did not play it on Dreamcast because I did not have a Dreamcast. That's where it originally started, I think, because it was Sega. But you drive around, you pick up customers, and you drop them off at their destination. I think there was a KFC in the game as well. And then you're driving around, and the soundtrack is The Offspring. So it was, crazy chaotic. You're jumping off of ramps and, trying to beat the time. There was an arcade mode, and it was so much fun. Later on, it got ported to the 360, and they had to remove The Offspring because they lost the licensing, so it did not hit nearly as well because, I don't know, driving around The Offspring just kind of, it added to it. So I hope that they do, like whenever they do the reboot or remake or whatever they're doing, I hope it does really well, and I hope it, lives up to expectations, I guess, but we'll see how it goes. The next game, and these aren't in any order, by the way, so I don't, Final Fantasy X is going to be my most nostalgic, my favorite, everything, but not really in any order. Star Fox Adventures. This is a game that so many people did not like, especially fans of the Star Fox series, because it's completely different. This was an action-adventure game, like a Zelda clone. And the graphics were probably the best graphics I saw on GameCube. I really, really liked this a lot. It was all smoothed over, and the music was done by David Wise, the composer of Donkey Kong Country, all 3 games, and Diddy Kong Racing, and multiple others as well. But that'll tell you, yeah, the soundtrack was good. It was kind of like on this like dinosaur island. There were all like different types of characters and stuff, but I had such a really fun time with this game. It was Rare's last game for Nintendo, I believe. A lot of people think that it was just like Nintendo 64, but there was actually, I think this was originally meant for the prototype that was between 64 and GameCube. I can't remember what it was called. And I think it's like extremely rare. Like the prototype you could get, I think some people own, and there's like little discs and stuff, but I don't really remember exactly what it was called and stuff, but I think that's what it was originally meant for, and then it may have been in place of the 64, and then they went with the 64 instead. I don't really remember exactly, but yeah. It was meant, it was not originally meant for GameCube, I do know that. But it ended up being really, really great, and I hope it ends up on Nintendo Switch Online. I would love that. Number 7. I don't know. It's not in order. Super Smash Bros. Melee. I'm not a big fighting person fan, and this honestly would probably end up in my top 100 games of all time, but it wouldn't end up. I don't think it would end up in my 50, because there's so many games that like I really love, like all around, and I do really like this game. It just, like I said, I'm not a big fighting fan person, but I played with my sister and it was a lot of fun. I would actually put the intro on repeat on mute, and I would play Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory alongside with it, and it was perfect actually. Like when they like say the sun goes down and then the sun like actually appeared, it was like perfect timing and everything, and the stuff you used to do when you were bored, back in the day. That's what we used to do. But I also just remember my sister and I would like kind of mess around playing with it, and we would like put it in slow-mo, or we'd press pause and like see how the characters looked in pause, and they were all in like funny positions and stuff, and that's kind of what we played it for. But I also did like going through the campaign and unlocking the characters and stuff, and they had that like big giant hand thing. So definitely like that game for what it was, and especially for a fighting game, not being a fighting game fan. Next game, Need for Speed Underground 2. One of the best racing games of all time. Riders on the Storm with Snoop Dogg. I love driving around. It was a big open world, and you could customize your vehicles. I had a Honda Civic all the time. Actually, I like the Eclipse as well, the Mitsubishi Eclipse, and I typically had a Honda Civic, and I would put like the neon lights down underneath it and soup it up, and you could drive around and do like different side quests and multiple like main quests as well, and it just, I don't know, I think that game was amazing. I did not play the first Underground, so I can't really say too much about that one, but yeah, I wonder if it would do well as a remake, and I think there were rumors at one point, or at least a remaster of it, but I'd like to play it again. So again, like if I build my collection back up, then we'll get that too. Next game is Downhill Domination. Surprisingly enough, this was, I think, co-developed by Santa Monica Studio, the creators of God of War, and it's completely different. It's just like this BMX downhill game where you can chuck cans and like cans of soda and stuff at other players, which were, computer, but unless you were playing with somebody else. But you can knock them off of their bicycles and try to get in front of them. The courses were crazy. They were intense. Some of them were really, really hard. But this is a hidden gem, and I don't know if you've ever watched Metal Jesus Rocks, which I've been an admin for him for Facebook for a while. It's been like 8 years at least, I think. But he always talks about Downhill Domination, or he has like several times, because it is a really, really fun game that I think a lot of people just don't know about. And it's, the last time I checked, it was still super cheap. I mean, like under $10 on PlayStation 2. I don't know if it's gone up or not, but yeah, definitely look into that one for sure if you haven't. Last game, another game that people hate. I just watched Kind of Funny's video on like 3D platformers and Nintendo's platformers, and I've heard him say this before, and other people say it too. Everybody hates Super Mario Sunshine. I don't. It's one of the Mario games that I actually played a lot of. Actually, I think I played that more than any other Mario platformer. And I don't know what it is, if it's, washing away all the paint that's like really satisfying for me. The colors, the tropical vibe, the music. I don't know, I just had a good time and it made me happy. I know going back to like trying to play it, when I had the Mario All-Stars 3D or whatever, that like the controls are not great, but this may have been the reason for my obsession with Power Wash Simulator. This might have started it all. I don't know, but it's just, I really liked this game a lot, and I know it, it has some flaws, but I think it's a vibe, and maybe there's just not really a bad Mario game. Maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of them, and I haven't played a lot of them, so which is like a goal for me. I do want to play through the Mario games as a whole at some point. I think it would be maybe fun, and I just need to get into like 2D platformers too. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's my list. That's my most nostalgic games. There's others, Cubivore was one that I remembered renting from Hastings back in the day, and it's a super expensive game, and it was kind of odd and stuff. There's also Pikmin, which like Pikmin 4 is like my favorite Switch game, and I think Pikmin might be my favorite franchise, and I liked it as a kid, but I don't have as much nostalgia for that as I do for those, as far as like what shaped me, as a gamer. So that's my list, and yeah, if you want to do a video response, go ahead, feel free. Let me know what your games are in the comments below if you don't want to do a video, and I will see you next time. Actually, I think I'm going to do a video on my top platformers, because Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out tomorrow, and I caved in and pre-ordered it today, so it should get here in a couple of days. I'm gonna put down Pokemon Scarlet for it, so yeah, I can't wait. I love 3D platformers. That's my jam. Banjo-Kazooie, bring it back. If we can get Astrobot, was Game of the Year last year, and I mean, from what they're saying, Bonanza might be Game of the Year too. But Expedition 33 is a fucking game. It's a fucking game. It's fantastic. It's phenomenal. It's not overhyped. It's not any of that. It's just, it is so good, and I think it deserves all the praise. But it would be crazy if like 3D platformers 2 years in a row, when 3D platformers are just not even popular anymore. Like, people are like, 3D platforming's dead. Like, people don't like that anymore. And then suddenly they make a comeback. Let's do it. Let's bring back 3D platformers, please. Give me more. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye.